Hey, what's going on everyone? Today we have the patch notes for patch 14.8. This is a humongous patch, and I don't say that often, but I will admit I was wrong last patch, but I think I'm going to be right this time. I said that forecasts were going to be back in the last video, and clearly they were not. It was still a reroll meta, but I promise you this time it's actually true. You know, we can admit when we're wrong sometimes, right? But they're buffing all the forecasts by a ton, namely the carry ones by giving them 200 extra health. This should help them survive against Yone along with a Yone nerf directly. But I will speak for the record that I did say Yone was still going to be good, just that a lot of the other rerolls were not going to be as strong. But let's just get right into the buffs, nerfs, and adjustments, and we'll go over all the changes along with what I think about them and how they'll affect the meta. So they're buffing Exalted. We'll have to see how they approach that. Garen, Gnar, Riven, Elune, Annie, Ashe, Galio, Kaisa, Kayn, Lee Sin, Morgana, Nautilus, Ornn, Sylas, Syndra, and Zyra. All the forecasts getting huge buffs there. Story Weaver units getting a buff as well, but they're nerfing the Story Weaver trait, so we'll have to see how that relates to each other. Heavenly nerf, of course. Dragonlord completely broken at 4+ Dragonlord. Ink Shadow, they buffed it a lot last patch. Of course it was going to be good this patch. Fortune, Yone, Aurelia, Boiling Point, nerfing Titan's Resolve, very critical item in the meta right now, nerfing Giant Slayer, and then adjusting Faded, Senna, and Raid Boss, and removing Everything Must Go. Yeah, it really did have to go. Raid Boss was weird. I think it was glitched, but let's see what they say about it. All right, Riot Vanguard. Yeah, you have to use Riot Vanguard now, apparently. Sucks, but it is what it is. New Tacticians, Chibi Yone, perfect time because they nerfed it, right? They probably should have released this last patch. Maybe they need to scold the skin team a little bit, get them released out a little earlier when Yone's buffed up, but or do you blame the balance team? I don't know. All jokes, of course, right? But UI improvements, favoriting. You can now favorite up to 8 of each cosmetic content type, allowing that content to appear at the top of your tacticians, arenas, or boom lists. I thought they already had that. Oh, yeah, they said they shipped this last patch, but didn't make it in the notes. And then now onto system changes. This is probably one of the bigger changes, but they're making it simpler. Mortdog had like a little tweet about this before, saying how it was unintuitive, and this change is just supposed to be globally good, no disagreements whatsoever. So stage player damage 0, 3, 5, 7, 9, 15, 150 is being changed to 0, 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 17, 150. So they're upping the stage damages starting from stage 2 by 2 damage, and then surviving enemies are now all going to do 1 damage each. So this should save some mental math and make calculating the perfect loss streak a bit easier, but as a reminder, you don't have to do any math if you just win instead. All right, yeah, that's pretty good advice. You know, it's just like when I tell my friends after they break up, if you just look better, they wouldn't break up with you. So I wonder if this is going to be overall more damage or less damage. I think normally there's around like either 1 unit survives in a win, or like 4 units survive, or the whole team survives, like 7 units survive. That's normally how my fights break out, either a low, medium, or high number. So I whip out the calculator really quickly. At 1 unit surviving, I'll take 1 extra damage in the old system, but I'd take 2 extra damage in the new system. So the new system, you take more damage, and then as you have more units, let's say you lose a round by 7 units. Under the old system, you take 3 extra damage, but under the new system, you'd only take the 2 extra damage that they added here. So when less units die, the old system is less punishing, but when more units die, the new system's less punishing. They're also making adjustments to double up stage player damage down here, and then now onto streaks. A streak of 2 wins or losses in a row now grants 1 gold, and they're doing this to celebrate the little wins. Yeah, that's very true. Shop roll odds, level 7, big change as well. Huge nerf to 3-cost reroll. They're upping the 1 and 2 cost chances in the shop for level 7, 19 to 20 for 1 cost, 30 to 33 for 2 costs, and then lowering the chance for 3 costs at level 7 from 40 to 36. I think they should actually up the odds for 4 costs at level 7. I feel like a lot of comps, you want just like a 1-star 4 cost a lot of times, and it's really hard to get that right now. You have to level up to level 8, and that's a huge money commitment, but it is a way to nerf the 3-cost units. I guess since they are making the 4 costs a bit stronger, they can't just buff the 4-cost odds here as well. That would be a little much, but I wish like maybe they didn't buff the 4 costs and then increase the odds at level 7. I don't know. There must be some middle ground somewhere. I just feel like it's very hard to hit specific 4 costs on level 7, and they know that they do that on purpose, but sometimes you just need the 1-star. I'm not even looking for the 2-star. Now onto large changes. We have Dragonlord true damage is being nerfed at 4 and 5 Dragonlord like we discussed before. Exalted base damage up by 1%. And then bonus damage per level is being changed from 1 to 1 and then 2.5 to 3% at 5 Exalted. No one ever plays 5 Exalted, ever. I don't think I've ever seen it in an endgame comp. I've seen it in some middle games, but maybe this brings it back. It doesn't seem that juicy to me because the units don't really synergize together, but We'll have to see. Faded set Omnivamp bonus being nerfed a bit. This was completely OP. At 7 Faded, you tripled the Faded bonus, so you would get 45% Omnivamp on all your units. If you think about it, that's more than 2 Bloodthirsters worth of lifesteal. We go to teamfight.lol, go to database items, type in Bloodthirster. Oh, it's over here. 20% Omnivamp. You're getting 45%. Absolutely crazy amount, all from hitting a set. It's the biggest power spike in the world. Now at 7 Faded, you'll only have 36%, which is still a lot, obviously, but not that crazy. Syndra bonus damage is being buffed up from 10% to 11%. Fortune 5 Tactician healing per round 3 to 2, so they're nerfing Fortune. Yeah, I feel like the 7 Fortune cash out was too easy to get. I saw it too many times, and the fact that it gives you like a 3-star legendary means you auto win the game without having any skill involved. It was happening a little too often where it doesn't even feel special when you see it. So I like this change a bunch. Ink Shadow, Tattoo of Bombardment, Bolt damage nerfed a bit, Protection nerfed a bunch more, Toxin nerfed a bunch, Vitality buffed up. This all makes sense. If we do a little data check, go to stats, items, and then hover on over to Ink Shadow items over here. You see that Protection's just the best, followed by Toxin. I mentioned this in my meta snapshot on my website, bunnymuffins.lol/meta, and in the weekly videos every single Friday that I'm sure you all already tune into. They nerfed Bombardment that we saw here, which was right after that, and then they buffed Vitality. So it's literally just a data check, which is good. Storyweaver 3, Kale on hit damage 18% to 15. Kale ability damage is being nerfed as well. And then Heavenly bonus stats are going to be nerfed at the last Heavenly breakpoint, at 7 Heavenly. What's odd is that I see a lot of people in the Yone builds actually go for 6 Heavenly with the Heavenly spat instead of 7. They drop Soraka and play Morgana instead to get the Sage lifesteal bonus. So a lot of people were not even playing 7 Heavenly. Obviously, it's really good still if you don't have Morgana. But it was very, very strong. But even arguably 6 or 5 Heavenly is pretty strong as well. But let's see what they're changing about Yone, because that's going to be the biggest nerf ever. So maybe holding back on Heavenly is probably a good idea. Units tier 1, Garen's ability unit shield is being buffed up at all ranks. Yeah, he was very, very weak. If you ever get Story Champion Augment, which is Garen's Champion Augment, you could get him 3-star right away, win a couple rounds in stage 3, maybe win 1 or 2 rounds in stage 4, but after that you just lose every round because you have 3 items on your Garen. Hopefully it's a bit better with these buffs. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I've been wrong before, right? Units tier 2, Gnar passive AP to AD conversion upon attacking or getting hit 2 to 4%. Gnar's passive max stacks 50 to 25, so he gets the same late fight power, but he gets it a bit quicker. Definitely a buff there. Riven 50 to 55 AD. Riven heal is being buffed up as well. Riven's a decent AD item holder in the early game if you didn't know that. Senna ability damage is being nerfed across the board. Senna reroll was probably the strongest 2-cost reroll comp. Senna ability now more reliably hits targets if her current target dies during the cast windup. She would miss all the time, that is true. Let's see. Senna's trading some damage for reliability this patch. She should be a bit weaker in stages 2 and 3 where the damage impact will be felt more, but the late game she should feel just as strong or ever so slightly weaker since she'll hit more impactful absolutions during important fights. Yeah, makes sense. Zyra's ability damage is going to be bumped up. Zyra has a nice reroll comp with Janna, but she was kind of like the secondary star or secondary carry. So I think this change is pretty fair. Maybe incentivize itemizing her a bit more. I want to see reroll comps like that with duo carries where you itemize the person you hit and you're fine with that. But in the Janna comp, first of all, I'm calling it a Janna comp, but if you hit a 3-star Zyra and you have a 2-star Janna, you're not happy. You still want the 3-star Janna. I had a dream where we could live in a world where you can itemize your 3-star carry no matter who it is, if they belong in the same comp and both literally just do damage. Zyra, if we read her, she pretty much just does damage. I know she has a wound effect, but so does Yone, in case you did not know that. Units tier 3, Elun's ability row damage is being buffed up a bunch, and then Yone's attack speed 0.9 to 0.85. Giving Yone's reliance on attack speed a 0.05 nerf should make it much harder for him to kill a backliner in one cast, but it will also make getting to that one cast harder. This will also slow his rate of stacking those dreaded Titans resolve, but we got another solution for that issue as well. So I think Yone's just broken because of Titan's Resolve, to be honest with you. A lot of builds do double Titans. I wonder if you just needed to nerf Titans. Maybe this is gonna put him in the dumpster. It seems pretty bad. It might not seem like a lot of attack speed, but if that's the main stat you rely on, because it is his favorite stat, and you're nerfing an item and you're nerfing Heavenly, like that might be a lot. We might not see too much Yone in the near future. But now onto the forecast. Everyone's getting 200 health, and you have this changes. Holy cow. Yeah, Yone If it's not done for now, like, when would it be? Annie and Ashe get 200 health. Ashe also gets a mana buff because no one's playing Ashe ever yet. Galio being buffed by 100. Kai'Sa, 200 health. Kai'Sa attack speed being nerfed, though, to kind of compensate because she was the only good 4 cost in the past 2 weeks. Kane's health increased by 200. Lee Sin by 250. Lee Sin AD bumped up a bit, too. There are no Lee Sin carry comps. It's weird how duelists just don't have, like, a 4 cost they could play around. It's literally just Volibear Tristana. Again, I want to live in a world where you can play Lee Sin as your carry with 6 to 8 duelists and do decently well. Lilia, 200 HP buff. Ability damage is going to be bumped up as well. Yeah, AP 4 cost units kind of suck, so yeah, you need to buff them a bit. Same with the orb damage. Morgana health bumped up by 200. Morgana actually gets an attack speed buff despite being played so much and being a very useful support unit. I'm surprised by this part. I already think Morgana's super duper strong. Do they talk about her here at all? I don't really see her name anywhere here, but she's probably like one of the better support units in the game right now, if not the best. Nautilus, 200 health, getting a buff for mana, really good for CC, but this is only a buff to his second and beyond cast, not his first cast. Ornn health bumped up, Silas health bumped up, and then Syndra health buffed up as well. Units tier 5s, Aurelia's auto attacks now target the 4 enemies closest to Aurelia rather than choosing between the 4 closest enemies to Blade's current position. So this is definitely a nerf because now she can't apply red buff to the entire team as easily. It might still happen every now and then, but definitely a nerf, especially, yeah, it's just like a pure nerf there. But she was a super strong unit, and the fact that I put Morello on her and I'm happy about it probably shouldn't be a thing. That's just how broken it was. All right, Boiling Point, nerfed. Yeah, this was a completely OP augment whenever you played Lux. I love data checking augments because it's just very simple to do. And if we type in Boiling Point here, you could see that the average placement of all augments in like our stat thing is 4.53. And then you see the average placement of Boiling Point, 4.07. That is very, very strong. Considering like people probably take this just to hard force Lux and maybe don't even have any Luxes to do this. And you don't need Shojin when you play that. It's just really, really powerful. But maybe with this change, you will need a Shojin. Let's see, Lux has 75 mana, and this will make you gain 13 mana per attack. So 75 divided by 13 is 6 autos to cast versus the normal 8 that she has. Spear Shojin reduced it from 75 divided by 15, 5 autos. So you need 1 extra auto for Lux to cast without a Spear Shojin. Let's do 75 divided by 18, which is a new breakpoint with Shojin. It's going to be 5 auto attacks, so it's going to go to 6 autos to 5 autos. Shojin probably not even worth it still. It only reduces by 1 auto. This is actually a pretty sizable nerf. Maybe you want to take this plus Cybernetic Uplink to give that extra mana, and then that would be really, really good because it's like almost there, right? Like 4.16 autos, but you need 5 because that's how math works. Call to Adventure Storyweaver is no longer offered on 3.2. Everything Must Go has been disabled. Find Vintage turns to 3 to 4. So they're nerfing Find Vintage as well, which is another Yone augment. Yeah, this was really, really good. I once had a game where they gave me a bunch of free items from an encounter. I had Find Vintage, and I had, I think, 8 support items hitting my Yone. And I think I only had 2 Yone items, and he was completely destroying like fully upgraded boards as a 2-star Yone. Absolutely hilarious. By the time I got my 3rd item, it was just GG already. That was a very fun game. Raid Boss no longer offered on 2.1. So there is a bug with Raid Boss. I wonder if they're addressing it now. When I have a 3-item 3-star Cho'Gath and a Thieves Glove on my Malphite gets the Raid Boss buff for some reason, not my Cho'Gath, despite him having 3 items on him. I don't know what's causing that, but I feel like having 3 items prioritizes having a Thieves Glove. Giant Slayer health threshold 1600 to 1750. Titans Resolve AP per stack 2 to 1. Wow, pretty sizable nerf there. Like, is Titans even worth it anymore? It's really only usable on like a couple of champions this set. All right, I guess we're just not playing Volibear and Yone. It feels like that, certainly. This is a lot because you get 25 stacks, so this is essentially saying you have 25 less ability power. Radiant items, they're gonna have the same adjustments as well as the regular items. Now let's go on to small changes. Porcelain attack speed, 6 porcelain. Yeah, that is completely justified. 6 porcelain is so strong. It's still going to be very strong. But they're just nerfing 6 porcelain on both sides for the attack speed and damage reduction. Umbral execute threshold, they should be buffing this, right? They're buffing it at 6 and 8 Umbral, it looks like. Yeah, no one really goes deep into Umbral. Hell, even when you played Yone, you didn't even go for 2 Umbral. But 8 Umbral's looking pretty juicy right now at 45%. Units, let's start with Kiana. Attack speed, 0.75 to 0.8. Teemo, ability power damage. This should be nerfed, right? No, they're buffing 3-star. I swear to you, 2-star Teemo with blue buff Morello hits so hard in the mid game. I've 100 streaks so many times doing that. But yeah, Teemo 3 does suck. Maybe they need a nerf 2-star, but do a 3-star buff. Maybe that would make more sense. Because I swear Teemo at 2-star is just way too good with good items. Volibear max mana nerf. Wait a minute, so they're nerfing Titans by like a ton and they're nerfing Volibear by a ton? Because think about it. If he doesn't cast, he doesn't heal, and this makes his cast take a little bit longer. I think it does matter, but maybe he takes so much damage that it doesn't matter. Azir health buffed up a bit, Hui health buffed up a little bit, Lissandra 200 health buff? Holy cow. Rakan, Set, Udyr, and Xayah all getting health buffs too. Xayah also fixed a bug with her 12th Feather and Trick Shot that should result in a roughly 2% power increase without the trait active and closer to 10% with Trick Shot active. So we are getting Xayah buffs. Fair enough, because I'm pretty sure Kai'Sa was still doing more than my Xayahs in a lot of games, and Xayah's a legendary. She should probably do more at 2-star. Augments, it removes things. Big grab bag can only give 3 of the same component. I swear I've actually had this before. Maybe I'm misremembering, but now that they mention it, like, yeah, that probably isn't very fun, right? Fine Vintage can no longer be offered with Pandora's items augments. And then Golden Remover tooltip now explains what the golden item remover is. Perfect. Bug fixes, pick of the litter can no longer yoink the unit it just gave you back to the shop. Fix a number of trick shot interactions, especially with Ricochet. Sivir's final auto during her ability now properly benefits from her increased AD. Xayah's last trick shot bounce damage now deals damage. Hilarious. Senna's ability no longer misses if her target dies during her windup. Volibear can no longer CC stun immune targets. And then Udyr, same thing. Aurelia's carousel encounter visuals now work correctly. Trickster's Glass on Xayah or Rakan can no longer spawn an extra clone. Oh, I did not know it did that. Trickster's Glass on a clone of Xayah or Rakan now always is the same form as the original, even if they are in different rows. Oh, it'd be kind of cool if you could put... Yeah, okay, yeah, but this makes more sense thematically. Grim, Annie's model no longer persists after she dies. Sticks and Stones is now actually disabled. Remix Rumble Flashback Storyweaver 7 Kale can no longer revive an Alawi Tentacle. What? Found this one, by the way. 3-star Azir can no longer leave permanent soldiers. How does this even happen? Recombobulator no longer fails to recombobulate a champion if no champion the tier higher has enough copies left. Unified Resistance VFX is now removed on combat start. Portal over where? Zeezerot Portal now keeps its placement round to round. That was very annoying, so this is a good fix. Fine Vintage no longer transforms temporary items, and then Slammin no longer grants experience from PvE rounds. Roadless Travel, same thing. And then Chibi, Spirit, Blossom, Ari, missing VFX. Who cares about that? I'm surprised they did not fix the raid boss bug with the Thieves' Gloves on Malphite. If anyone ever encountered that, let me know. Because literally any behemoth that I put my Thieves' Gloves on got priority. I think I sold it and then put it on like a 2-star Ornn or something like that. And then my Cho'Gath still wasn't getting it. I don't have it recorded, but I swear this happened more than once. But overall, pretty solid patch, I'd have to say. Like, they addressed everything that was wrong with the previous patch. Fortune being very OP, Yone too OP, but I think they hit Yone too hard. Dragonlord, Ink Shadow, buffing 4 costs. Are we gonna be like a fast 8 meta right now? Because 4 costs are all like much stronger now. They said they adjusted Faded, but I didn't really see any adjustments there except for Set, right? Let's double check. Go down to the large changes traits. Oh yeah, they buff Syndra, nerf Set. Definitely a nerf overall for that, by the way. I don't think the 3% damage you get from using Syndra is going to compensate for losing, what, 11%? Or 9% lifesteal from Set. Boiling Point definitely got hit very, very hard because the mana break points for how many autos it takes for your Lux to cast got really put out of whack. I think it's still going to be decent though, but maybe you do some sort of attack speed build. Maybe don't need the Shojin, because I don't think it reduces autos by that much. Titan's Resolve, I don't think I'm building that item anymore, to be honest. It only worked on 2 champions this set, and since Yone got nerfed into the dumpster, it looks like Titan's Resolve loses like a lot of its effect. 25 AP is a lot. If we look at some of the AP items like Morello, it gives 25 AP. That's all the AP it gives. Hextech Gunblade, it only gives 15. So I know you have to fully stack it, but that's a lot of AP, you know? Like, come on, it's half a death cap. Like, that's a lot. I get it, you have to stack it. So maybe in reality, it's only on average like maybe 15 AP throughout the duration of the fight. But that's like a pretty sizable nerf. Maybe they could have nerfed like the base stats around Titan's Resolve instead. If we look over here, it gives 10 attack speed, 20 armor. Maybe it like reduce the armor or something. I don't know, man. There's gotta be something. It just feels weird to like get rid of a stack. But I would say expect some fast 8 this meta. Maybe everyone just goes like full econ, get to 8 as fast as possible, roll down, hit the 4 cost, hopefully stabilize. Maybe Ashe can actually be meta. I don't think Ashe and Lee Sin are going to be back completely, but the 4 cost tanks definitely are going to stabilize you a lot more. Maybe you do like a reroll backline and then get a 2-star 4-cost tank. I'm sure like 2-cost reroll is still going to be very solid because they didn't really get touched at all from this patch. Senna got changed a bit, but she was already very OP, so I think she's still going to be strong. The whole like Janna Zyra build is probably going to be decent still. But all in all, we'll be updating the meta snapshot on Friday as usual. We definitely have the longest standing player run meta snapshot in TFT, doing it for like 3 to 4 years now, so definitely check that out at bunnymuffins.lol/meta. Probably come out with some other guides this week. I think I'm going to do the unranked to diamond video that we did in the previous set, so if you want to learn how to climb in a bunch of different ranks, that video should be pretty useful for you. Apart from that, that's going to be it from me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Are you going to get the Chibi Yone after he got nerfed? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to use a bunny still, but player damage definitely going to change things a bit, but not too much. It depends on whether you lost by a lot of units or by very few units. Definitely probably going to be fast 8 because like all 4 costs got hugely buffed, so definitely going to be a bunch of changes there. But that's going to be it for me today. I'll see you all next time.